Okay, everyone, welcome to the Mythbust episode. I know a lot of you have been waiting and waiting and waiting for this. Okay, today we're going to do something crazy, all right? A lot of you guys tuned into this channel specifically because I'm unorthodox, controversial, and ballsy. But most of all, I am honest about stuff. So, we're going to do something this one time just a little bit different, okay? And if you love it, maybe we'll do more. If not, you know what I mean? Maybe whatever, we'll think about it. But today, I need to show you something real quick, okay? So let's move on with the show, and then I'll explain everything in a second.
This thing is a cloud machine. Yes, I have a sub-ohm build in here. It is running around 0.45. Now, let me just state something right now while I'm on the subject. The builds in here, you're not going to be able to meter it. So make sure you know what ohm you're targeting, make sure you've done this build on a device or atomizer you have done this build on before, so you can replicate it and know exactly where your ohms are going to be.
Okay, so I apologize for what is going on. Okay, in no means, okay, do I mean to drag Cloud Creator out, you know what I mean, into the light, and it's not about that. It's not about that at all. Okay, why am I doing things this way specifically this time? Okay, because the whole idea of like hybrid items, whether it's a hybrid dripper or a hybrid genesis, right, and you are not able to meter what you build on them, that is what the myth is. Okay, now I understand that there's going to be a ton of like different reactions because some of you who are more of the beginner and the novice stages, and some of you, who are like on the fence about it, and then many of us, in our family is of our subscribers, you know what I mean? You are welders, engineers, electricians, you know what I mean? We come from all walks of life, and there's a lot of us here, okay, who are familiar with using like a multimeter and all that other electrical nerdy stuff. So if I am ever wrong or whatever, there are plenty of family members in our channel to spank me, okay? So with that said, all right, the purpose of why I brought this video up, right, is that I need to show everyone that like this myth, the idea that you cannot meter things that are a hybrid or whatever, okay, is very real. It's real to the point where even other reviewers think so. You know what I mean? It's not just a small rumor of like, some people talking about it. It's real people talking about it, and that's why I'm showing you this. Okay. Now, what's even more interesting is that like after how many subscribers, after how many videos he's done, after how many views, after how many thumbs up, and all of these remarks and things over here, not a single person has spoken up about like, hey, that's not true. And you know what? That's what this Mythbust is exactly about. That's not true. So let's duck down, and then let me show you exactly what should have happened and how to actually go about these things so that like we could get this, we could bring clarity to the situation. All right, guys. So what was the item that he was working with? It was the EH Pro Valkyrie, right? So, bam, EH Pro Valkyrie, right? All right, let's take a look at this thing. I'm gonna go ahead and open this up and then show you my build on the inside, okay? So there we go, typical build, right? Let me focus this a little bit for you guys so it's a little bit better. All right. Okay. So I'm just going to leave this on the side over here, right? And we're going to talk about this later. First, what we're going to talk about is using like multimeters. So over here, I have a multimeter. You don't need a multimeter this good. Basic simple multimeters is good enough. Okay. As long as it has a digital screen, it's fine. All right. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead and then bring out my ohm meter over here as well. Right, and then I'm going to show you a build that I have inside of the iGo W4. Now, the one thing that Cloud Creator did say that I appreciated was that, like, although he felt as if, like, you can't meter these things, all right, he did offer the idea that like, well, you know, you want to put in like a similar build to like whatever you've done in the past, so that like, you know, you could be like within the ballpark of safety, right? However, that's still not entirely accurate, because like many times after you build the coil and then you fix the hotspots and stuff like that, the numbers that you get is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead, right, and then show you guys how to use the multimeter and check for ohm resistance first, okay? And it takes a pair of very steady hands. So what we're going to do is that like we're going to toggle our multimeter over to the ohms and then put it to the lower setting. So I'm going to go ahead and then turn this thing on, right? And then the first thing that you do is that you take the negative and your positive, and then you touch them together so that you can find the internal resistance of your actual multimeter. So then I'm just going to touch it like this, and then I'm going to stay quiet and it's about 0.3, okay? Mostly on 3, a little bit on 2, but then it keeps flashing towards 0.3. So you're looking at like an internal resistance of like maybe like 0.29, 0.28. So pretty much 3, okay? So what do we do now? Once we know the internal resistance of our multimeter, right, then we go ahead and then we stab it onto our atomizers, okay? So you guys already know that the positive pin is in the middle and then the negative one's on the side. Now, regardless if your atomizer is a single coil or a dual coil setup, you only need to touch one of the negatives and one of the positives, and it will still give you the same reading regardless of how many coils that you have set up in here, okay? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go ahead and then I'm going to stab over here and then over here, and then it should bring us down all the way to 1.1-ish. Okay, 1.1. 1.1 minus 3, that should put us around like 0.8. So if I go ahead and then turn this thing on, we will be at 0.85. Very close. You see what I'm saying? That's how you know this, and that's exactly how it works. So what do we do over here? We would do the exact same thing. We would take our Valkyrie and then go ahead and stab the positive pin. You see what I'm saying? And then the negative pin over here, okay? And then let me move my hand out of the way so that like we're gonna let this thing go down and I have to stay steady. Okay, I'm all wobbling all over the place. Give me a second here, okay guys? So I'm gonna stab here and here and then stay steady. Same thing, 1.1, right? Because I put the exact same build over here, 28 gauge Canthal, 10 wraps on each side, and then this is the same thing of 28 gauge Canthal, 10 wraps on each side. See, they're the exact same build. Okay, so for those of you at home who are thinking to yourselves, well, Peg, what if he wasn't using a hybrid dripper and he had like, an iHybrid or some kind of Genesis or whatever? Well, then bam, okay, I was ready for that too. So here it is, and I'm going to take this apart and then show you the exact same idea over here. This is a simple hybrid dripper. No, I'm sorry, hybrid Genesis tank. Okay, and then we're just going to go ahead and then take the positive, which is always in the middle, right? And then we'll put it over here to the negative. And let me move my hand a little bit, and then let's relax. Kind of like a 1.2, 1.1, something like that. So then basically this thing will, be roughly around like the 0.9 area. Okay, so guys, that was the myth bust, and I hope you enjoyed that episode. Send to Cloud Creator. I'm really sorry. It's not my intention to like start a war or anything like that. Okay, I just needed to show the folks at home that like certain myths are very real, and I'm not just making stuff out of nowhere. Okay, it is to the point where like even some reviewers believe that things like the hybrid whatever cannot be metered. Actually, they can as long as you have a multimeter, and then you do things that way. Okay, so see you next time.